VR allows us to have unique experiences like traveling to distant planets, meeting with friends and family across the world, and slicing glowing boxes in half using a lightsaber. VR also allows us to try activities we may not be comfortable with doing in the real world, such as rock climbing or flying a wingsuit. Hello, my name is Viking Princess, your VR fitness expert, and today I am testing some of the most popular extreme sport games in virtual reality. The first game of the list is Kayak VR Mirage. This game came out earlier this year and immediately caught our attention due to its incredible graphics and true beauty. The game starts in an adorable indoor swimming pool when you can go through the tutorial and check your settings. Play around with your height in the kayak. I found that if I placed myself higher, I had to dig lower to get good speed, leading to better core and oblique workout. At first glance, it may look like just a few maps are available, but each section has additional maps associated with them and different weather and race conditions. The game is simple. Race through courses marked by arrows in the water and do your best to go between the numbered poles. In the right order, of course. Look for shortcuts and control your kayak to outrace your opponents and get to the finish line. Kayak VR Mirage is a perfect candidate for extended VR handles. I love using mine as it allows for better immersion into the game, but I also find that it makes me paddle in a way that is more attuned to true kayaking. I also feel like I get a better workout this way. If you decide to set up extended handles for this game, take some time and pay extra attention to the settings. You will have a difficult time controlling your kayak if your handles are not properly calibrated and rotated. The mechanics in Kayak VR Mirage are incredibly complicated. In part, it makes the game incredibly fun and realistic, but also incredibly frustrating. It is almost too easy to get stuck on shallow water, next to a rock or a cliff, or get carried away by the currents when trying to make a turn. If you get yourself set up right, you can get an incredible upper body and core workout, but unfortunately, it's too easy to get stuck and frustrated. This game has done very well since its release this year, but the average playtime on Steam is only around 5 hours, which makes me wonder if the difficulty is just too much for most people and takes away the true joyful experience that this game has the potential to be. I am personally terrified of open water, and a sturdy canoe is all I manage to get myself into out in the real world. That's why this game is perfect for me, as it allows me to learn and experience something I would not want to do outside of VR. Staying on the water and sticking with the theme of technical games that teach you how to handle real-life equipment, it's time to look at VR Regatta, the sailing game. In this game, you will learn the basic mechanics of sailing, which means there is a lot to pay attention to right from the start. Set yourself up standing sideways in the boat so that you can control both the sail and the tiller at the same time. The tutorial starts you off on an easy race downwind with the water surface covered in stars. And of course, naturally, I had to attempt collecting all of the stars, even if I have no idea what they actually do. Once the race is completed, you unlock the quick races. Choose your next adventure by sailing your boat into the blue beams. I'm aware that I'm not one of the fastest sailors, but this form of UI was very frustrating to me, as it took almost a minute and a half from leaving the leaderboard UI to reaching the beam, which then transported me to another map, making me wait even longer. The quick race consists of sailing around buoys, and completing this race unlocks the long races, which again unlocks the relax mode. The game does highlight the relaxing experience of sailing your boat on the open water several times through the introduction. With the slower method of choosing game modes and physically easy movement required to play this game, I agree that this is definitely better suited for calm evenings than any workout session. I only played through a few races when trying out this game, and although there was a moment where I felt like I had full control of my boat and cutting through the waters was incredibly smooth and rewarding, the overall technicality and slow pace of this game failed to intrigue me to want to spend any more time on it. The game is available on Steam VR, and I may have had some problems playing it on Quest 2 when it comes to controller tracking, as I often had to have my hands behind me to steer my boat. If you have tried any other VR sailing games that you prefer to VR Regatta, let me know in the comments, as I would love to check them out. But for now, I consider myself retired from VR sailing. Welcome to Carve, the Quest 2 snowboarding game. In Carve, you are teleported to a cozy mountain cabin where you can hang out, check out your different snowboards, say hi to your dog, and tend to the fireplace. After completing a quick tutorial, you can start playing through the different courses, unlocking new ones as each is completed. Each course has a time attack mode where you have to race to the finish line within a set time, or you can play the freestyle mode where you have to score a certain amount of trick points within a set time to complete the level. Start each race by selecting your board and your stance. Use the position of your arms to steer the board down the slopes. Use a combination of the trigger buttons and arm movements to jump, spin, and grab your board. Although the courses are fun and there is a lot to explore, the time attack mode can easily become a little stale. The freestyle mode is a little bit more interesting. Still, the tricks seem to interfere with each other, and I often found that the spins would revert themselves instead of following through if I happened to let go of the button a little early, or if I tried grabbing onto a different part of the board. As you raise your arms to jump and use the grip button to grip your board, my intuition wanted to lower the hand I was planning to grip the board with, but this is very similar to the move required to make your board spin. So there's a little bit of a confusion or a little bit of practice needed to be done there. There's also no flips available, and I'm not quite sure how you would do that in VR, but it does mean that the number of tricks available is limited compared to other gaming platforms' snowboarding games. Overall, the game is enjoyable and has some really cool graphics. I wish I could turn off some of the UI when playing to enjoy the scenery more. And it wasn't a game that made me feel any thrill, or sweat for that matter. But it is a game I can see myself jumping into on a wintry day when getting to the real slopes is not an option. Keeping with the winter theme, it is time to check out Biathlon Battle VR. In Biathlon Battle VR, you play a young aspiring athlete who has just arrived at the athlete's village, ready to take on the season. You are equipped with a starter rifle and a set of skis, and instructed to compete in single-player races to earn cash and prepare for the championships. The races are set in different locations around the world. At first glance, it looks like the locations have several different maps, but after further investigation, it seems like it's just the same map displayed multiple times. The mechanics of the game are simple and enjoyable. The motion of skiing is intuitive, and the movements use large muscle group in the back and legs, raising the heart rate and giving a great workout. You have a stamina meter to keep an eye on, but I never had any problems running out of stamina, and it was easy to recharge by coasting on the downhill sections. The only part of the gameplay that bothered me was that the other athletes keeps running into me from the side and behind. They pushed or bopped me out of the way. The races follow a similar format to traditional biathlon, where the athletes complete a ski section before stopping to shoot at targets. You have 5 shots to take down 5 targets. Any missed targets lead to 5 penalty seconds added to your overall race time. The shooting is probably where this game is the weakest. It was incredibly hard to stabilize the gun enough to line up properly, and honestly, in the end, I kind of just gave up and fired the shots as fast as I could just to get on the way again. There are ways to level up your gameplay by more than just skill. Heading into the shop area, you are presented with a shooting range where you can practice and level up your rifles. The rifles do seem incredibly expensive, and after trying a few of them, I realized that I am terrible at shooting in this game, no matter which rifle I pick. Similar to the rifles, you can buy better skis, which are also incredibly expensive, and I don't even want to think about how long it's going to take to make enough money to pay for all of this. The game progressed by winning championships. At least the first championship consists of 2 different races, and the combined score determines how well you do. Overall, Biathlon Battle VR is a really fun game to play and has the potential to give you a really good workout as well. I really hope the developers are still doing work on this project, as I would love to see the skiing sections being broken up with more target shooting and improve the stamina bar and how the range of motion affects movement speed. I definitely still prefer skiing out here in the real world, but this VR version was a lot of fun. For the final 2 games on my list today, we are exploring in the elevation. First up is Rush, a wingsuit race game. Go through the quick tutorial and calibration, grab an energy drink, and let's get ready to fly. Choose between traditional wingsuit races, time attack, score challenge, and free flight. In the traditional races, you race against 3 other AI players by clearing the checkpoints and getting to the finish line. There are 5 different environments, each with 21 unique courses, and you have to complete a race in each course before the next one unlocks. The controllers for the game are pretty explanatory, and they use the same mechanism as Biathlon Battle VR, where you have to tilt your head in order to turn. Use your fists to aim and dive at a target, and open your arms wide to slow down and move up. Increase your speed by flying close to the ground or walls. Just keep an eye on that speed meter. Get more points by flying close to objects such as trees and rocks. For the score challenge, get extra points by diving your head into the small round circles within the larger targets. The game comes with a multiplayer feature where you can either invite friends or search for a public match. And thankfully, you can play while waiting for a lobby because finding a public one could take, well, kind of forever. Rush is another beautiful game with fun features and a lot of content. However, the amount of constant diving down and reaching forward means that you have to lean over for most of the time while flying in this game, which can lead to lower back pain and strain. Make sure to engage your core and keep your back flat with a slight bend in your knees while playing the game, and take breaks between rounds. Other than that, the game can be fun to play and introduce me to an experience I will never have in the real world.
3, 2, 1.
The Climb has all the features you want to see in an adventure game. Following a simple tutorial, you can play either a professional or a casual mode, located in beautiful scenic areas. In professional mode, you must keep an eye on your stamina and chalk levels while competing for the best time or score on the leaderboards. The casual mode does not account for stamina and chalk levels, but you cannot climb the leaderboards. You can, however, unlock achievements. There are several achievements to work on, and you can unlock different rewards by completing them. In your gear settings, you can equip any reward you have unlocked and change the look of your avatar's hands to suit your preference better. The gameplay is fairly straightforward. Climb to the top of the mountain. If you selected the professional mode, you need to pay attention to stamina levels indicated on your wristband and remember to read chalk frequently so you don't lose your grip. Depending on the difficulty level of the course, you may have to use different types of grips, jump onto obstacles, or navigate around complicated terrain. The courses have checkpoints along the way where you will respawn if you lose your grip and fall. The game is one of the most beautiful games I have ever played in VR. It is an incredible experience. Although there aren't many different movements required to play this game, I was surprised by how it makes me work and how I consistently break a sweat. Be aware of your head and neck placement when you're playing, as you often have to look up and the headset's weight and hyperextension of the neck can lead to pain or even injury. The game often allows you to lower your arms, which lift you up in the game so that you can look around without bending your neck. The Climb does an excellent job of creating an adventure that is both challenging and rewarding. Playing it gave me a low-intensity workout, and getting to the mountain summit felt incredibly rewarding. I don't think it can compete with any true mountain summit experience, but for those who don't have access to the wilderness, this is a great virtual reality alternative. There you have it. These are my favorite VR games for extreme sport experiences. If you think I missed some, let me know in the comments below. And if you're still looking for some more exciting VR games, then I recommend you check out this video next.